What's up, guys? JR Raymond back again, and this time we're headed over to the regional in Elkhart, Indiana. We're bowling on a 38-foot Mike Aulby pattern. So we're going to talk about lane play, and I'm going to show you exactly what we're going to be doing this weekend on that pattern. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back. So we are bowling this week in Elkhart, Indiana, at Country Club Lanes. We're bowling on the Mike Aulby pattern, 38 feet, which I don't think I've ever bowled on before. So I went into this practice session pretty clueless, and I left feeling a whole lot better than when I started, because I spent the first half hour or so trying to play further right. 38 feet, you use the rule of 31, and you generally will tell yourself, so you take the length of the pattern, 38 minus 31, which is the rule of 31, and you end up at 7. So I'm thinking, okay, I can play further right, maybe even play up the lane. Generally, with the lane surface, we're bowling on SPLs, which is an AMF surface. So generally, it's a higher friction surface, so you see more hook to the right. So my first instinct was to take a 2-inch pin, even a little urethane, and try to play further right. And my problem was, for the first half hour or so, I'm using different balls, and when I went up the lane, the ball hooked immediately and went through the face, like this. And when I I moved my feet a little left and tried to throw it to the spot, it would never hook, and I'd take 3 off the right or something. And it was rough. So I kept playing around with different balls. I tried urethane, and I could get urethane to get to the pocket once or twice. But then if I got it going up the lane, it was the same thing. It hooked early. If I got it going around the lane, it would never hook. So right away, that tells me, okay, the right side is no good. This place is not going to let me play to the right. And I'm looking around, and I'm seeing an awful lot of guys. They're left of 4th arrow, 5th arrow already, because they probably saw the same thing. So I told myself I was going to try to move into the track area. So then I made a move to the track area, and we got to like 12, 13. Didn't want to get it right of 7 or 8, but they were so fresh, I couldn't get the ball to stay on the right side of the head pin. I struggled for quite some time trying to get the ball to match up in that area, and I still couldn't do it. So finally, I started moving left. I went way left, and I tried to throw some shots to where I just went around the lane, see if I could get it to like 6, 7, 8 down lane and get it to go through the pins. And it looked okay. I could get some to go through them, but it was not the right choice. So it was for sure, I had no miss room left. They were so flat in the middle. I had no miss room left, and then I had no miss room right because there was so much hang to the right. But I had to throw it to the right, otherwise it was going to hook too much. So the way you got to actually play this pattern is you have to control it. You have to roll it. You have to get a good smooth ball reaction. So I took my 2-inch pin precision, and I took it down to 500 by hand so I could get it to read sooner and slow down. So it wasn't going to store energy and jerk down lane. It was going to use up its energy and be smooth off the back of the pattern. So then I was able to get to like 17, 18 and not get it right of like 9, 10 or even 8, 9, 10 in that area. And I could get it to go through the pins. And I could even start going left a little bit, and I could get it to go through the pins still. So that's going to be a lot of what we're doing. We're going to end up playing that middle part of the lane, that 17, 18, 19 to start, and not throwing it right of probably 7, I would say, to start the game, to start game 1. And then we'll just continually, gradually inch our way to the left and see if once those shorter pin, smoother balls go out of play, you start going to the longer pins that are better reaction down lane. Once the oil pushes down lane, you can then move to some stronger stuff. And then once you get to a certain point, you can no longer go to stronger stuff because the stronger balls use up too much energy, and they start to plaque 10. So that's when you need to start going back down in balls, and you go to weaker stuff like Eruption Pros or even IQ Tours and stuff like that, to where you can store a little bit of energy and get the ball to finish a little better in the back part of the lane while still getting it to read that middle part of the lane. So this is what we're going to be doing. You can see a couple different styles here doing some different things, but for the most part, the scores are going to be low. The scores are going to fluctuate from game to game because pair to pair is going to be difficult, and you're going to see a lot of people playing urethane to start, trying to just control the pocket. So some of those pairs are going to get real squirrely, and we'll see what happens. But I think the scores are going to be low. I think the cut might be minus. If they played like they did today, the cut's probably going to be minus for 7 games tomorrow. So look for guys playing smooth early ball motions in the middle part of the lane, trying to stay away from the hang. And the reason I say that is they're looking, what we look for that hang. If we see that hang spot, immediately it tells us to get away from it. So we move left. And that's why you see a lot of the guys out on tour start to move their feet left so fast, because there's so much volume down lane and to the right that you have to get the ball closer to the pocket and stay away from that right side. So when you say 2-pin or 210, your ball's a little light, your instinct normally tells you just move a little right, shut the angle down, and you can strike. That's not true on something flat like this. On something like this, you actually have to move everything closer to the pocket. So you, off a 2-pin, I would generally just make a 1-and-1 to the left and get into the flatter, even flatter part of the lane where there's a pinch more hook and to make up for that 2-pin. You know, whereas if you go back to the right, say if you just move your feet one right, keep your eyes the same, now you're shutting your angle down, and that ball's going to hook early, and it's going to go through the face. So it's just the way it is when you're bowling on a flatter pattern. The moves are completely different. And you'll notice if you start bowling some regionals, you start bowling some tougher events, the moves are completely different than what you would see on your typical house pattern, because you're not moving into more volume. You're actually most times moving into less volume in a flatter part of the lane to where it's crisper down lane. Your ball sees the dry down lane a whole lot harder as you move further left. So you got to be careful with some of these things. So tomorrow you're going to see a lot of really good bowlers using those smooth, predictable balls in the middle of the lane, and they'll transition to some bigger, maybe ASIM balls as they go left to get them to, you know, make us like almost like a hook stop motion so they don't overreact. But I hope this helps everybody try to figure out how to play some different patterns, especially the Mike Aulby pattern on this type of surface. Maybe you can take this information and learn from it, and maybe it'll help you bowl some better scores on some of the tougher conditions. So that's all I got for you today. So until next time, guys, we'll see you later.